Junkie. This is Anna from Little Flea. And this is Carrie from Mère, Soeur. We are going to have a little chat about how Instagram has basically created a brilliant career for this young lady who we are old enough to be her mother. But anyway, we'll put that to one side. So, you used to work in Lush, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
My children's obsession, one of them. What inspired you to go into, to start putting things on Instagram or to create a t-shirt line? What inspired you?
What inspired me to start Instagram in the first place was just kind of just a way to talk about being a new mum and find support with other people doing exactly the same thing, and that's what inspired Mère, Soeur as well, definitely. Just the whole theme of, you know, sisterhood amongst mothers.
So
supporting each other.
Did Instagram, were you on Instagram first as yourself before Mère, Soeur?
Yeah, if you go back, if you scroll off for long enough you'll find it. Don't do that, please. Yeah, and then I just started using it to kind of just talk about everyday life really. Like when I had my baby, I lived in the middle of nowhere. I had like no friends. I knew nobody. I moved there when I was 7 months pregnant, and I couldn't really get out and about. It was the middle of winter, so all I really had was the people I met. Oh, that sounds so sad.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't, because I actually think that's, motherhood is quite lonely actually, and I think
having a business.
Yeah. Huh?
It's like having a business.
Yeah, it is. It's lonely, and actually, it's nice to find ways to connect with people, and you being in like the Welsh Hills basically, which is where you are, right? You're like, as you say, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to have like a local NCT group, whatever, necessarily. So I totally understand that. But so you had your feed and you became a mother, a young mother. But so where did the brand come from?
I have no idea. I didn't even know I was building one until it sort of.
But did you like think, oh, I really fancy a t-shirt with something, and I'm going to print it?
Stuff that I want to wear. That's it, and I'm just glad that other people like it as well.
So, and you said earlier that you do all your own drawing and things like that. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
So did you come up with a logo first and then thought, oh, this would look good on a...
Well, so the first product was a tote bag, and I just made it on Vistaprint with like whatever font they had on there. It was really like basic. And then I used...
professional.
Yeah, that's what Vistaprint. And then with the money I made from the tote bags, I bought some mugs and stuff. I didn't really like have a logo like to speak of, and then I thought I need to make a t-shirt because that's what I wanted to do next. And then I thought I always have these nails, and so the logo is basically like hands holding like this with like really pointy nails, which is obviously like a symbol of friendship and stuff. So I just had that made with pointy nails, and that's it.
So it's literally you make one product which sold.
Yeah. With
the proceeds you
bought
developed another product, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and it was at that point I thought, right, I need to start actually like, you know, making it into a brand. I didn't really realise what I was doing at first. I just did it for fun. I didn't really have anything else to do on account of me not knowing anybody or having any like mum friends.
How did you sell it then? So you
just
had
through Instagram.
So you had this following, that this group of
so
mums.
I think at first, like when I started, I think I had about like 1,000 followers or something, and that was it. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Did you have the website?
No,
Did you
I
build
didn't
the website on the back of your Instagram?
Yeah. So
feed?
it was Instagram first. I didn't actually have a proper website until March this year.
And you were telling us that you're off to LA. Well, you've got 2 lookbook shoots coming up. You've got your London one.
Yeah.
And then you've got your Los Angeles one.
I do. Yeah, that's going to be really exciting.
So tell us what's new for the range for next season. Is it? Well, it's not next season, is it? Because it's going to go live now.
One. Yeah, I should really be working on next season, but no, I'm still working on it.
Spring summer 16.
Yeah, I've got a baby. I don't have time. Everything's kind of like last minute all the time. So this time I've got kids' clothes, which is something I haven't done before.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So excited.
Twinning opportunities.
Yeah.
So I've got a kids' version of the Mama Gown t-shirt, which would be really cool. Got a few new mugs. I've got sweatshirts and crop tops ordered. Not just t-shirts this time. Yeah.
So that going back to the twinning thing, have you got the mama gang and then what, kids gang?
It's baby gang.
Is it baby gang? Baby gang.
So it's another back print, but instead of the hands logo. Yeah, I need to have more babies.
She needs to do a larger age range. Let's change it slightly. The kids stuff goes from 8 to 5.
Yes.
Okay, and tell us about this Instagram exhibition that you've just been in London for.
Oh yeah, that was exciting. So it wasn't necessarily a mum thing. It was just women around the UK doing all different things, like inspiring people and telling stories through those little squares, really, and doing things a little bit differently.
Because there's a photo of you that's quite. I'm going to use the word iconic actually, because I think it is quite iconic. Certainly for me, as I did say to you earlier, it's one of you breastfeeding your son.
Yeah.
But it's actually not like. It's actually quite pleasant to look at. Trying hard to be diplomatic, but actually, genuinely, as I said to you earlier, I did say it to you and I'm very honest.
Yeah.
But it actually is. It's nice to look at. Actually, not that I'm not saying because I want to look at your tits. It's right, but it's nice to look at.
It is a great picture of mine.
And I think, and actually, looking at other people's. It seems to me, from what I've picked up on Instagram, it seems to be a very talked about piece actually.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that have participated or visited the show have spoken about. You didn't and obviously it was just a very natural shot of you breastfeeding your son. You didn't really probably think anything of it.
So that day I had a lot to do. I was like doing housework and stuff, and Riv was about 4 or 5 months old, and he, like at that point, he just wouldn't leave my boobs alone. He was breastfeeding constantly. So I had some like disgusting pyjama pants on and like this just weird like crop top thing. I just had to like wake it up and just hold him on my hip while I was doing everything else. Literally with one arm like cupped around him, and that was when I took the photo. Really, it wasn't special.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't posed. It wasn't staged. It wasn't filtered and edited.
It is quite iconic.
It's an iconic image. It really is, and it will. I'm sure it will kind of. What's the word? It will represent something to a lot of people, actually. And
that's probably half of it, isn't it? Because there's such a debate about like the stigma about breastfeeding. People having their photos removed from Instagram because of because people complaining. So that's kind of the fact that they chose that image for an exhibition.
Yeah, it's telling actually.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I see it, I just see a picture of my everyday life. I don't think anything of it really. And I went to the launch party with a friend, and he said he was trying to figure out why people were coming over and saying, "Oh, that's my favourite one." Why it was so kind of like so many people were talking about it, because again he just saw me feeding my baby and didn't think anything of it. But a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people.
They see what they want in it. They see it. You said that you had a bit of
people
backlash.
Get angry about it,
You had a bit of backlash, didn't you?
Yeah.
People are.
Yeah. People will call me a bad mum, saying I'm like sexualising my baby and all that poor baby. They said that about River. And I just thought, But it was actually what it is, though.
If you go back to when you were first had River and you felt really lonely. So you're now kind of inspiring other young mums and other people. So it's kind of come full circle, isn't it? What you really needed in the Instagram community.
Yeah, definitely. So like I remember being in Peterborough train station. This was the first time I'd fed River outside and like in public on my own, and I didn't think I'd feel nervous about it. And then
did you cover or not cover?
I've never covered.
You've never covered?
Never. I was really stubborn about it. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to cover up. Like, why would I? Some people might feel more comfortable covering it, like whatever. I just didn't want to. So I went to put him on the boob, and then I just all of a sudden just felt the presence of everybody in the train station. I thought, oh no, I can't do this, and I got really flustered. But I'm so stubborn and so like determined. I just thought, no, I have to do it. And I would think about the women who at the time were breastfeeding their babies and posting pictures of themselves breastfeeding, and I thought, like I can definitely do this, it's going to be fine. And I remember having that thought, thinking about those women on Instagram doing what I then came to do, I guess.
And you did it?
Yeah.
It didn't crawl back up because you were like panicking or anything?
No. No, I was in the pub once, a nice pub, and an old lady, she must have been like mid-70s, she is the only person who has ever shouted at me for breastfeeding.
Shouted?
Literally shouted at me from she went.
What did she say?
She was saying that I'm disgusting. Well, the first thing she said was, look at her feeding that baby over there, and
well, like
instantly,
talking extra loud,
yeah,
so that you would hear.
Exactly, and I went, excuse me, and she didn't say anything. I was like, excuse me, and my mum was there as well, and it was absolutely awful. And she was like, that's disgusting. Like,
what's disgusting? It's just such a strange. I mean,
she was like,
I know that you don't, because you've got.
It's a difficult thing. You know, we had this conversation earlier. I mean, I'm not an earth mother, but I accept that that some people, that works for lots of people, and I don't judge them for that. But personally, I prefer a coverer. No, I prefer a coverer.
Yeah.
I prefer a coverer. Because it can make me feel slightly uncomfortable, but I wouldn't scream and shout at somebody.
Do you not think that's your issue though? Not theirs?
Do I? No, not at all. Do I think it's my issue? Maybe.
It's a problem you have.
It's difficult. Yeah, maybe it's a bit a problem I have. I have so many. No, not at all. Maybe I do have.
Turn this into therapy.
Yeah, let's have can you turn this into a therapy session? No, but I think also, how can I describe it? It's like, I wouldn't be the only person, I am a mum, but I wouldn't be the only person around somebody breastfeeding that might find it a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There might be guys or people that were unable to have children, whatever, and I just feel that this is my personal opinion, and I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
I just think I feel more comfortable if somebody is more kind of sort of subtle about it personally. But that's my opinion.
Bold person.
Yeah, but you know what? But you are like. I'm going to have to edit this because it's going to sound really rude. But you are like gorgeous and young, and you look good. But there are people who walk their backs out. These great, ugly, heaving tips with like veins, and it's dangling, and it's disgusting. And I don't want to see it. Sorry, but it's different. Some people, it's different. You're more attractive, and it's slightly different and young. But it's not, I wouldn't want like some 45-year-old with a lamp out in my face.
I know you think I want to talk about this actually, because when I was pregnant, I knew I wanted to breastfeed. I was adamant I was breastfeeding. The only image I had in my head of a breastfeeding mother was like what you've just described.
Right.
And it was only because of Instagram that I actually saw.
Doesn't have to be like that.
Doesn't have to be like that. Sounds really like.
No, but
I'd never seen.
You can be like attractive and young and breastfeed.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, because it's
not that there's anything wrong with the other.
No, there isn't. But it's.
But that doesn't speak to somebody who's like 25 and having a baby, or like
I think it's up to the observer, to not observe and just avert our
exactly,
eyes.
and that's what I do. I just look away. I would never comment to someone. I would certainly never do what that woman is doing.
Yeah.
I think the thought of a mum feeling like she has to go and sit in a loo.
Oh my god, yeah, never in my life.
I think that's really really sad. I think what you're doing is. It's bringing it out there, so do you know what? This is normal. This is okay. This is beautiful. This is natural.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It is true. But everyone has different opinions. So to you, it's beautiful and natural, and I totally appreciate that. But to somebody else, it's like a bit. They just don't. It's just
no. I understand. Like no one in my family breastfed before I breastfed my baby. I wasn't breastfed. My mum would say, there's something like on my nipple. And like, it's disgusting, it's unnatural. I'm like, well, actually, it's definitely funny. Yeah, and so like pretty much everybody in my family had that like opinion, so nobody understood why I was.
It's a very, 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 very polarising subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we know this from it from people you've come across. I know it from things I've written about. There's this strong mama community. you know, with you and
hashtag.
Molly Gunn, and yeah, there is, and a lot of people with the big fist pump and the mothers' meetings, and you know, it's a very kind of it's a movement
about,
definitely.
Lastly, what advice do you have for someone like you that has come from a completely different background and has been thrust into motherhood, who wants to do something? What's your advice?
Like a business?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I had no idea. But I didn't even know what being self-employed like entailed, or like anything I had to do. So just do it. Find something that you really, really feel passionately about, and the help is there as well. I mean, I went into my like local job centre and I said, "This is what I want to do. This is my idea. You know, what is available?" And they put me in touch with like a business advisor, who she's now my accountant. Like we get on really, really well. But yeah, the help is out there as well. Just I'm not saying work all the time and use every spare minute to it, but that's what I did. I just every nap, like as soon as River would fall asleep, I would work till like 12, 1 o'clock. I still do it now. That's how I get stuff done. I don't find time. There is no time. You have to.
You make it.
You make the time.
Yeah.
And if you really want to do something, that's what you do, I guess. That's what I've had to do.
You've got to be passionate about it. If you've got a passion for something, if you love what you do, if you feel so really strongly about something, it's gonna.
And you won't really realise you're doing it either.
Yeah.
Because it's just you automatically do it because it's what you love and it's what you enjoy, and and then you find yourself in.
But also, it's for yourself.
Yeah.
And for your son as well.
Yeah,
so you've got that impetus to really kind of make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think part of the beauty of the digital age, apart from the fact that, you know, everyone's completely antisocial and is constantly on their screens, is that you are able to work outside of normal hours, and you can work till really late tonight or start really, and you can fit in around your own life. And so I think that's good advice, and have an amazing shoot. Two shoots.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing the results and hearing all about the kids stuff.
Yeah,
which
I can't
we'll
wait
be writing about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.